righty, folks. Let's get to some headlines from across the state of Texas. And there are actually some relatively big ones across the state. We will start in Blanco and a pretty seismic coaching move that has come down last week. And that is that Blanco, they've been looking for a head coach. Let me walk you through this, okay? So Edna made a coaching change. Okay.
Which was kind of surprising.
I would say really surprising with Jimmy Mitchell, who's been to 3 straight state semifinals, being non-renewed. So he moves on. Jamie Dixon from Blanco is hired, which means that Blanco is then looking for a new head coach. Well, they have found a new head coach, and they are expected to announce, I believe it was pending board approval on Friday, that Kent Walker will be the next head coach of the Blanco Panthers. Kent Walker, most notably, Liberty Hill head coach. Liberty Hill is absolute. This is a big time get here for Blanco. This is a guy who has been 49-14 in his 4 full seasons at the helm of the Liberty Hill Panthers. Went 4-1 in 2020 as an interim after the death of his brother Jeff Walker in Week 9 of that 2020 season. This is a pretty shocking move here as he's going to move from Liberty Hill to Blanco. Now, I do not, of course, he took them to a state championship game back in 2021 where they fell to South Oak Cliff. But in 2022 and 2023, went to the state semifinals. This is a guy who's made 3 state semifinals. State semifinals if you count the interim year in 2020. Rather remarkable. We'll see what happens to the offense. Obviously, people know Liberty Hill as running the slot T. Mm-hmm. We will see what ends up happening as far as the offense is concerned.
But realistically, Kent Walker took that over from his brother.
Correct.
So it's he never really had a choice of what offense. I guess he did, but
he could have at some point. But I think that things were humming along so well that it would have been a surprise. I do want to. Okay, I have not talked with Kent Walker. I want to be very clear. I have not talked with Kent Walker. However, allow me to wildly speculate. One of the things that's coming down the pike is that there is another high school coming to Liberty Hill. Liberty Hill Legacy Ranch it began classes this past fall, and they are going to be in the varsity. They're expected to play a varsity kind of outlaw schedule this year and then be aligned into a UIL district in 2026. So things are changing in Liberty Hill. Mm-hmm. And again, I have not talked with Kent Walker, but there are guys who like being one school town guys.
Oh, yeah.
And Liberty Hill is about to not be a one school town.
And that's a seismic thing for a program like that specifically. If you go to the Frisco area and you say, oh, okay, they're opening up another high school. It's already oversaturated. Sure. There's 13 of them already. What's the difference? That for a one-horse town is a big, big deal.
Absolutely. So Liberty Hill now looking for a new head coach here as Liberty Hill's Kent Walker has taken over there at Blanco. Elsewhere, another pretty big move in the Central Texas area, although it has to do with DFW as well. Mesquite Horn has made a hire. You may remember that Mesquite Horn has been looking for a new head coach ever since Courtney Allen stepped down after 3 seasons. They have gone and made a pretty splashy hire themselves. They have hired Pflugerville Weiss head coach Vernon Hughes. Vernon Hughes leaving Pflugerville Weiss to take over at Mesquite Horn. This is a guy who played at A&M Kingsville and Texas Lutheran, and then has kind of bounced around the coaching world before becoming a head coach there at Pflugerville Weiss, where he did really good things. He's 17-5 in 2 seasons there at Pflugerville Weiss, kind of a fledgling program there in Pflugerville. This is all very interesting. I would also say this about Mesquite. We've said this a couple of times. Mesquite ISD has made a couple of big swings on coaching hires. They've gone through and gotten some big-time hires to come in, and this is the latest in them. They don't hit singles. They swing for the fences, and they've certainly done it again here with Vernon Hughes from Pflugerville Weiss taking over at Mesquite Horn. Fascinating to see how that works. I think Mesquite Horn, this is me. I think this is a build there at Mesquite Horn. They are, I think that when you take a look at Mesquite ISD right now, they do not have the power nexus I am interested to see how things operate moving forward for Mesquite Horn. But Vernon Hughes is a guy who understands the landscape extremely well. Fascinating to see how this works. But Pflugerville Weiss looking for a head coach, as their head coach, Vernon Hughes, has taken over there at Mesquite Horn. Elsewhere, this came down late Friday night, kind of a Friday night news dump. And that is that Lubbock Monterey is looking for a head coach. Judd Thrash is out after 3 seasons. Lubbock ISD posted the job, which is how we know that the job is open. That's how that works. If you ever see a listing for editor-in-chief of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, that means that I'm out. Thrash oversaw a pretty substantial kind of rebuild of this program. Took a team that was 0-10 and got them to a 7-5 mark in 2024, including winning a playoff game and actually giving Denton Ryan everything they wanted in that area round of the playoffs. I would be remiss if I did not mention he was placed on administrative leave by Lubbock ISD following an arrest and a vehicle crash in early April. Jason Sims is going to be taking over as he's led the program at least during spring workouts. My guess is that he will be at or near the top of the list to take over there at Lubbock Monterey. And so that is the latest there. Lubbock Monterey is looking for a head coach. Again, speculating here, haven't talked with anybody around Lubbock Monterey. Jason Sims feels like he has the inside track to take over that job. Mm-hmm. Remember, he is a guy who was the coach at Childress for a good spell. Before that, he was a coach at Quanah. He has head coaching experience. My expectation is that Jason Sims will be at or near the top of that list. So, Lubbock Monterey looking for a new head coach.
Breaking news. You can see me now.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Hi, we did it.
Hi.
We fixed the camera. Elsewhere across the state, it was 7-on-7 this week. 7-on-7 tournaments going on across the state, and we've got some new teams that have punched their ticket to the state 7-on-7 tournament. That includes Hutto and Tyler out of the Arlington SQT. They punched their ticket to College Station. At the Anna SQT, it was Princeton and Argyle Liberty Christian. I believe our own Carter Yates was out at the Anna SQT.
Yes.
And he said that Argyle Liberty Christian looked really good, especially Cooper Witten.
Yeah, he said Cooper Witten's an animal.
He looked really, really good. In Division II, at the Kilgore State Qualifying Tournament, Kilgore won their own tournament, beating Lindale. But I heard from Matt Stepp. Matt Stepp was out at this one. He had really good things to report, obviously, about Kilgore. They win the state qualifying tournament and punch their ticket to College Station. But also, Lindale looked good and Pleasant Grove looked good. Those are two teams that got positive reviews from those on site. At the Hardin-Jefferson SQT, it was Hardin-Jefferson themselves who punched their ticket to the state qualifying tournament. So there it is. Of course, we are the home of the state 7-on-7 at TexasFootball.com. Make sure you go and check out all the stuff we got cooking, and we will have you covered every step of the way on the road to College Station in the state 7-on-7 tournament. And finally, Pickle, I would like to invite you to go to TexasFootball.com. Always.
Yeah, just naturally.
But especially now, and look especially hard right now at TexasFootball.com for a story written by Matt Stepp about the Gordon Longhorns. Gordon Longhorns, you may know, as the 2-time defending 1A Division I state champions. 6-man football, and they're excellent. They're really, really good.
That's how you know something's up, because Stepp wrote a 6-man article.
Ball knowers understand that that's rare. And that is that Gordon and Coach Mike Reed has scheduled 2 games against 11-man opponents. They're going to throw 5 more teams on the field. And by the way, their 2 11-man opponents are not lunch meat. They're going to, in week 4, they're going to go on the road and play Thorndale. Thorndale is a 2A Division I team that won a playoff game last year. That's a good Thorndale team. And then in week 9, they're going to travel to Kerrville and play a neutral site game against Bracketville, a 2A Division II team that went 7-4. These are good teams, good 11-man teams, and they're going to take one. And in talking with Mike Reed, I actually saw him at the Texas High School Hall of Fame induction ceremony this weekend. And he said, look, we need a challenge. We want to be battle tested. We want to go out there and challenge them, challenge ourselves.
Are they going to play 12 or 11-man ball?
They're going to play 11-man ball. They're going to put 5 more guys on the field, and they're going to play 11-man ball. He told Matt Stepp in the story, and remember, he did play they have done this before. Mike Reed has done this before. He was the head coach at Throckmorton. They did a hybrid 6-man, 11-man game back in 2012. Quote, if you're a good 11-man team, you can play up a level and it won't really impact you as far as the playoffs. They have the flexibility to challenge themselves outside of the conference and it makes them better. We don't have that luxury in 1A for the most part, so we had to be creative. The challenge for us is we have to play a totally different game. End quote. Mike Reed was the head coach at Hamilton for 4 seasons as well. But this is fascinating, and he's right. When we get to non-district season, the first few weeks of the season, we're going to be marveling at South Oak Cliff playing DeSoto or South Oak Cliff playing Galena Park North Shore, right? Yeah. And that is a 5A Division II team playing a 6A team. We go, wow, they're punching up. For a team like Gordon, there's nowhere to punch up because to punch up would be at 2A, and they play a different brand of football, plain and simple. And so I think this is fascinating that Gordon is going to play 2 11-man games this season. And look, in the end, iron sharpens iron. This is a team that only played 1 fourth quarter all year, okay, against Abbott in the state semifinals. They finished their state championship game 15 seconds into the third quarter. That was only the third quarter they played all year.
So why not?
So why not challenge yourself? We know they're going to be good. Stryker Reed, Rye Reed, Braden Walters, they are loaded for Bear, and it'll be a real challenge, I think. So I'm fascinated to see how this works. That's coming up. Gordon is going to play 2 11-man games coming up this year. You can read all about it on TexasFootball.com.
I also wonder if that will help some. I mean, Powers just rated 2 of their players as 3 stars for the first time ever. So I also wonder if this will help. Maybe they can actually get recruited more. You know, like that's another play into it.
That's one thing I think is fascinating to see. Is can guys like Rye Reed, Stryker Reed, Braden Walter, will playing the 11-man game give all of these recruiters who may be a little bit hesitant to recruit a 6-man football player, maybe it gives them what they need to see.
Like, obviously, it worked with Grayson Rigdon, but he went to play 11-man fully.
Right, exactly right. Fascinating to see. You can go to TexasFootball.com and read more about that. Gordon going to play 2 11-man games this year. And that is the headlines from across the state.